do you love to get for Valentine's Day? Some people love chocolates. Some people love flowers. Not me. I love a message in a bottle. I love words. They truly are my favourite thing for Valentine's. So, technically, I'm a cheap date because words will get you everywhere. So I thought this Valentine's Day I might read you a few of my favourite poems. And at the very least, you can close your eyes and drift off to sleep listening to them. I will have to read them. My memory is not good enough to remember them all. So, apologies that I have to keep looking down. So, the first one is called Love's Philosophy by Percy Bysshe Shelley. The fountains mingle with the river, and the rivers with the ocean. The winds of heaven mix forever with a sweet emotion. Nothing in the world is single, all things by a law divine in one another's being mingle. Why not I with thine? See the mountains kiss high heaven, and the waves clasp one another. No sister flower would be forgiven if it disdained its brother. And the sunlight clasps the earth, and the moonbeams kiss the sea. What are all these kissings worth, if thou kiss not me? I love that one. Next is a well-known one. She Walks in Beauty by Lord Byron. She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes, thus mellowed to that tender light which heaven to gaudy day denies. One shade the more, one ray the less, had half impaired the nameless grace, which waves in every raven tress or softly lightens o'er her face. Where thoughts serenely sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place, and on that cheek and o'er that brow so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, but tell of days in goodness spent, a mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent. The next one is a bit of a naughty one. It's a Valentine by Edgar Allan Poe, who is one of my favourites. Written about a lady who he didn't want his readers to know the name of. And it's hidden within the poem. However, it is fun to read, so here it is. A Valentine by Edgar Allan Poe. For her this rhyme is penned, whose luminous eyes, brightly expressive as the twins of Leda, shall find her own sweet name that nestling lies upon the page, enwrapped from every reader. Search narrowly the lines, they hold a treasure divine, a talisman, an amulet that must be worn at heart. Search well the measure, the words, the syllables. Do not forget the trivialist point, or you may lose your labour. And yet there is in this no Gordian knot, which one might not undo without a sabre. If one could merely comprehend the plot enwritten upon the leaf where now are peering eyes, scintillating soul, there lies perdue 3 eloquent words oft uttered in the hearing of poets, by poets, and the name is a poet's too. Its letters, although naturally lying, like the knight Pinto Mendez Ferdinando, still form a synonym for truth. Cease trying. You will not read the riddle, though you do the best you can do. Now, if you do want to find out the identity of the lady this poem was written about, I'll show you this as I have it written down. All you need to do is take a look at the first letter of the first line, the second letter of the second line, the third letter of the third line, and so forth, and her name shall be revealed to you. The next is When You Are Old by Yeats, and it's a sad little poem, but I love it. When You Are Old by W.B. Yeats. When you are old and grey and full of sleep, and nodding by the fire, take down this book and slowly read and dream of the soft look your eyes had once, and of their shadows deep. How many loved your moments of glad grace, and loved your beauty with love false or true, but one man loved the pilgrim's soul in you, and loved the sorrows of your changing face, and bending down beside the glowing bars, murmur a little sadly how love fled, and paced upon the mountains overhead, and hid his face among a crowd of stars. I love that one. I love them all, that's why I'm reading them. And finally, it's quite a long poem, so if you're feeling sleepy, now is the time to drop off. But I love this one. It's called Always for the First Time by Andre Breton, and it's all about his love for a woman that he may never meet. I love that. So, I definitely have to read this one. Always for the First Time by Andre Breton. Always for the first time. Hardly do I know you by sight. You return at some hour of the night to a house at an angle to my window. A wholly imaginary house. It is there that from one second to the next in the inviolate darkness I anticipate once more the fascinating rift occurring, the one and only rift in the facade, and in my heart the closer I come to you in reality, the more the key sings at the door of the unknown room where you appear alone before me. At first you coalesce entirely with the brightness, the elusive angle of the curtain. It's a field of jasmine I gazed upon at dawn on a road in the vicinity of grass, with the diagonal slant of its girls picking, behind them the dark falling wing of the plants stripped bare, Before them a T-square of dazzling light, the curtain invisibly raised in a frenzy, all the flowers swarm back in. It is you at grips with that too long hour, never dim enough until sleep. You as though you could be the same, except that I shall perhaps never meet you. You pretend not to know I am watching you. Marvellously, I am no longer sure you know. Your idleness brings tears to my eyes. A swarm of interpretations surrounds each of your gestures. It's a honeydew hunt. There are rocking chairs on a deck. There are branches that may well scratch you in the forest. There are in a shop window in the Rue Notre Dame de Lorette 2 lovely crossed legs caught in long stockings, flaring out in the centre of a great white clover. There is a silken ladder rolled out over the ivy. There is, by my leaning over the precipice of your presence and your absence in hopeless fusion, my finding the secret of loving you, always, for the first time. Whether it's chocolates or flowers or words,